Hello, one and all, and welcome to the A2theK Wrestling Show. WrestleMania is just 12 days away, and we are going to be taking a look at all the happenings from the Big Four shows. As always, I am Carl, and joining me, as always, is the A in A2theK. It's Anthony.
Hey?
Hey?
It's going to be another exciting week, Carl. We are now at This Week in Wrestling, as you rightly said, so we are going to take a look at what happened this week in wrestling, Carl. And I think it's only right that we kick off with the Monday Night Show. Your favourite and mine, Raw.
And there'll be some kicking off to do, as there always is. So let's run down the match card for Raw over the past week. So we kicked off the show, Anthony, with the WWE Champion, Bobby Lashley, in competition against Sheamus, with Lashley picking up the win in what was a pretty decent match, to be fair. We had Asuka making... Did she make a return this week or last week? I can't remember, but she was there, and she took on Peyton Royce. Sure. She was in action against Peyton Royce.
Is a bad guy now, apparently.
Well, yeah, apparently.
Was she good? I don't even know.
Who knows? But Asuka did pick up the win, so not much of a push for old Peyton there. And then, subsequently, Rhea Ripley makes her Raw debut, and she challenges Asuka for a match at WrestleMania.
I don't know why people just see the similarity between her and Charlotte. Maybe turning up and demanding a title match. Maybe that's the likeness.
Now that you mention it. So yeah, Rhea Ripley's there, and she wants to be in WrestleMania for the title. We had an episode of Miz TV, which was followed by The Miz taking on Jeff Hardy. With The Miz picking up the win. What's happened to Jeff, eh? When's the last time he won a match?
More like Jeff Hardley.
Hey, Job Hardley. Yeah, let's fuck it. We'll go with it. We had AJ Styles taking on Kofi Kingston, because obviously AJ wants to be a tag champ now. Kofi Kingston picking up the win. We had a 2-on-1 handicap match with Hurt Business's own Cedric and Shelton taking on the Scottish psychopath Drew McIntyre, who picked up the win. There was a stipulation here that if McIntyre won, the Hurt Business would be banned from ringside at WrestleMania. In McIntyre's, I could just see Anthony shaking his head in disgust.
This was a fucking disgusting display of a match.
Okay,
we'll talk about it in a minute.
Anthony feels passionately about this one. We had Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler taking on the team of Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke, with Nia and Shayna picking up the win. And with the titles on the line, I don't know, probably, but they were retained anyway. We had a short little episode of Alexa's Playground, where Alexa was, and
Randy just ran out and lied down.
Pretty much. Moment of bliss. We then had Elias and Shane McMahon doing a concert, Anthony, because that's what the people want on Monday Night Raw.
They did an unplugged version of Here Comes the Money. I would have actually had a lot more respect for it if they'd have done that.
I know, it would have been amazing, but no, they tried to make a joke about Braun, or Braun being stupid, because... and then we followed up that with Braun Strowman taking on Elias again in a rematch from Fastlane, with Braun Strowman winning again. And the main event, if you want to call it that, the main segment of the evening, saw Randy Orton summoning The Fiend, Part 2.
If you want to call him that.
Nemesis Edition. Definitely not Bo Dallas.
Definitely not fucking Bray.
Well, I don't know.
It's not Bray. Look at the face. The mask is nah, that's definitely not Bray behind that. Why would they cover every aspect of him? You can't spot any tattoos or fuck all. It's definitely not Bray. I'm willing to die on this hill, Carl.
But why wouldn't it be Bray, I suppose, is the question.
Because they're gonna do Fiend versus Fiend, and you fucking know they're gonna do that.
They do not have
Kane versus Kane and Taker versus Taker. They're going for it again.
They do not have the foresight to plan something like this. That is not going to happen.
They do have the foresight.
Bruce?
Yes, the guy.
Yes. So, that was the match card. So, let's jump right into the highlights for Raw. The opening match. So, what a fucking way to kick it off. It was interestingly, when we come on to Dynamite, but a lot of shows like to kick off the show with the world champion in competition. But yeah, strong opening match, and do you know what? Something which doesn't get spoke about enough in this. This was a hell of a push for Bobby because Sheamus has never tapped out or submitted in his entire career.
I think this was perfectly handled for legitimizing Bobby. I really do.
So, someone like Sheamus, who, a lot of people look down on and don't, there was a time when everyone was kind of sick of him, to be fair, but as I've been saying, he's been putting on just absolute bangers every week for a while now.
As a fan base, we can be quite fickle at times, and because he was Triple H's pet project at one point, we instantly disliked him just out of principle.
Well, yeah, there is that.
As we tend to do.
But no, so fantastic push for Bobby there by, kind of allowing Sheamus to give up a submission, which he's never done before. So something as small as that, on the one hand, can prove to be like, a really big thing for Bobby. So,
and really, to be honest, the only thing I would moan about, and it's not a gripe, it's definitely a highlight, but the only thing I'd moan about is it couldn't have gone any other way. In terms of the submission, it could have, but there was no way Bobby was going to lose this. So it was kind of predictable in that sense. Bobby was going to win, because how can you have Bobby lose to Sheamus but Drew beat Sheamus? It just wouldn't have worked.
Oh yeah, exactly, and we can come on to that in a minute with Drew as well, because obviously again predictable, but interesting now that Sheamus seems to be starting a program with Riddle for the US title at Mania, which is a swerve I didn't see coming.
Bro,
why the hell not? I'm sure it'll be a good match.
No.
So we then got Anthony, which I've got it as a highlight, but based on what you said in the opening thing, we'll talk about it. But we had Asuka, Peyton Royce, and that match was meh. It was a bit of a squash match, to be fair. So poor Peyton, but Rhea Ripley comes out, and that's how you make your debut, isn't it? That's how you get called up to the main roster. Comes out, yeah, I'm going to fight you at Mania, and she's like, "You're not ready, but yes, I'll fight you at Mania." So that bit.
What was that?
That was my Asuka impression if she was posh.
I fucking love it. Go on.
So
here's my issue. This isn't a highlight for me, right? And my reason being, and it's not strictly just about this. It's about the inconsistency of WWE as a whole. You have to win a Royal Rumble to get a title shot, or you have to win some sort of match to get a title shot, or you can just walk out and demand one, and it just doesn't make any fucking sense. I'm annoyed when Charlotte does it. It's only right I'm annoyed when Rhea does it. It's just okay, you're on the main roster now. Could Keith Lee do that? Did he do that? He might have done that.
I think you might have.
You can't just sit in the roster and go, I should have a title. Shit doesn't fucking work like that. Shouldn't fucking work.
To be fair to Rhea Ripley, she was the second. Well, I mean, it was only down to her and Bianca, so she didn't win. But Bianca chose SmackDown, so technically, Rhea Ripley's got.
Oh, right, okay. So we're gonna give the other show to the runner-up. Who did Edge eliminate last at the Rumble? Can anyone remember?
Well,
probably Daniel Bryan.
That's why Randy Orton had a WWE title recently. So there you go, because it was down to them two in the end, wasn't it?
Either way, I'm pissed off. It's lazy booking. I want a match. Okay, Goldberg, go and have your match.
Anthony's on his soapbox tonight, folks. So you've got that one, and then the next highlight I had was Drew. So disposing of the hair business, still looked exceptionally strong while he did so, and that's what he needs to also, be, he can beat Bobby kind of thing. Go on, shit all over it.
Look, I think we all know, both myself and our millions of fans. I guess they're not here.
Millions of fans.
Right? That you are a Drew McIntyre fanboy. Right? More so than I. I like Drew. He's a cool guy, right? Mm-hmm. And, we root for him as a fellow Brit until he loses and then he's Scottish again. As a fellow Brit, right? Now, I'm all for that, right? And I'm all for making him look strong. But this was way too much to the detriment of the hair business. Shelton and Cedric have now lost the titles randomly to the New Day for no reason, with no use that didn't benefit the New Day or them. And now they embarrassingly get beat 2-on-1 against Drew. This isn't about whether Drew looks strong enough for me. This is about the fact that they actually started having something really good with the hair business. I was hyped when, they had all the gold. I was like, that's awesome. Like, and we've talked and we've said about MVP is sort of delivered on that, and he's sort of legitimized this whole faction, and we were actually giving him a lot of credit for the work he's done since he come back and what he's done for the hair business. And now we're just going to totally fucking ruin it, because how can you take the hair business seriously after that match? Carl.
I mean, that's not Drew's fault, is it? They buried the hair business when they had them lose the titles to the New Day. So
no, they started digging the hole with that match. They fucking buried them this week.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. They've been the weak link in the hair business for a while now. They had that weird little thing that they were doing where it was like, oh, you keep costing us matches, and Cedric was like, I'll just pick up all the wins by myself, and then nothing ever came from that. Then they lost the belts, and now Drew's squashed them. So it's a combination of things, Anthony. Take it up with MVP.
Wouldn't be a highlight for me.
It was a highlight for me because it's what we needed after Drew McIntyre. He needs to get back in contention for this belt. It's been announced, so he needs to look strong. Lashley looked strong by fucking twatting Sheamus, which is what Drew's already done. So now Drew needs to look strong as well by twatting the hair business. So I was a fan. Deal with it. Right, the next one. That's a highlight to me, unless you want to shit over this as well.
I feel like I'm coming at everybody a highlight this week, so I might as well.
Stop coming at me, bro. So the Fiend stuff. So look, for me. Oh, sorry, I didn't realise it was Bo Dallas under there. Not. You and your crazy, conspiracy theories.
I never said it was Bo. The world jumped onto this after listening to my thoughts.
You said it was proper Bo. That's like, what you said.
I was like, I don't think that's Bray. And then the whole world went, he's right. Maybe it's Bo. I never said it was Bo.
I mean, that's pretty much what happened. As always happens on this show. We say something. A day or two later, it's gone everywhere, and everyone's like, "Oh, did you know?" People are it's like, "Well, yeah, because you robbed it from us, you bastards." But anyway, stop listening to Anthony because he's wrong.
Anyone who takes issue with what we've just said, we're joking. We know not everyone listens to the show and might have come to the conclusion by themselves.
Nah, it was definitely us. Yeah, definitely.
As far as I'm aware, I was the first.
Well, exactly. Because we don't listen to anyone else's stuff either. So,
True.
Although Anthony's a damn dirty plagiarist, so maybe he just robbed it.
I listen back to my own podcast, actually.
Oh, yeah. Haven't you just done that thing now where you just edit my audio out so you just sit there listening to yourself?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, the Fiend stuff, right? I feel like, we can't deny it's drawn out, isn't it? My God, it's been drawn out for ages. We were speculating probably 2 months ago that is the Fiend going to come back with a different look? You said no, by the way. It's just proving that you're wrong again. Oh yeah, I went there. But he is back now. But yeah, it still feels super super drawn out. Like I hope it just doesn't get the same. Like we don't get the same thing every week now till Mania. But at the same time, it was good. So Orton comes out. He's got his little petrol can. He's going to set him on fire again. If he doesn't, he RKO's him because that's much worse.
That worked the first time. Let's burn him again.
And so, yeah, then the Fiend gets back up and then demolishes Randy. And then Alexa and Fiend just kind of celebrate. And Orton's like, come on, sit on me again. But she doesn't do it this time.
Do it!
So, yeah.
I agree. This was a highlight. I agree with every point you've made that it's a little bit drawn out at this point. To the point that I'm actually wondering whether Bray's had to have that time off for a reason. Like I know he had a baby recently, but even so, it's still quite a long time in that sense as well.
He had a baby? Oh shit! Yeah,
I think
Becky Lynch has been off for ages.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think him and his missus had a baby before Becky and Seth's back. So, I don't know. Maybe it's like maybe there's been. I don't want to speculate because it's what's the point? I'm just making shit up. But I think it's probably the injuries he suffered. All them injuries that I've just made up.
Dave Meltzer's made a career off that.
I mean, rumor has it that he's been seen at the Performance Center lately, probably signing contracts.
Yeah, he had a pen.
That's weird.
So,
but no, like I do agree with you. Like it might be a little drawn out, but I'm still hyped for this match. We're heading to Mania. Hopefully, we don't keep getting the same thing. Hopefully, they keep it as fresh as they can. But the bottom line is, the Fiend versus Randy Orton. It's going to be a good match or cinematic, whatever they tend to do.
Well,
either way, I'm happy.
I imagine we're getting some sort of stipulation. Don't know what, like.
I reckon it's going to be a cinematic because he's like, I can't breathe in this fucking thing. Made the suit like full arm length and everything. So I reckon it's not going to be a long match.
Do you know what? Wearing that get-up, he probably feels like even hotter than when he was actually set on fire. Like, there's literally no room to breathe in that fucking thing, is there? But
it's like, oh, it's fine. He's just making fiend noises. No, I think he's actually in pain.
So I don't know what they're gonna build towards. Obviously, we've already had an Inferno match. I think we've already seen Firefly Funhouse matches, and I don't even know whether that fits anymore because it seems like Bray Wyatt's dead, and it's just Resident Evil Nemesis Fiend now.
We don't get any fun anymore. The Funhouse is over.
Exactly. We just get Alexa's Playground.
Alexa's Playground, which isn't. I'll be honest. Like, I know a lot of people love Alexa, and mostly just because she's attractive, but like Alexa's Playground's just there on like a oversized swing and stuff. Like, it's not got the same. What's the word? Not gravitas, but it's not as engaging as the Funhouse and what crazy skits is he gonna come up with next and that kind of thing, is it? Let's be honest.
I mean, I'm engaged, but still. So, them's be the highlights in terms of the O'Shites. Miz and Morrison, my God, right? So they're now going to bring out another song, "Hey Hey Hop Hop," because Bad Bunny.
Because Bunny.
Why do we get this shit mixed in?
Right? Because WWE want to punish us because we were hyped for John Morrison coming back, and they want to go, "Oh, you enjoyed that, did you?" And they want to make a point of going, "See, you can't have nice things." And that's what's happened right now because, honest to God, they just separate the two of them for fuck's sake before it's too late.
Like, I can only think that maybe the original plan, if everything would have gone to normal with it being Hollywood and stuff, is we might have had Miz versus Morrison potentially this year. But they've pushed Hollywood back a whole year, so maybe they've just gone, I don't know, we'll get Bad Bunny in, and then we'll have a year-long build to them two splitting up. But
no offense to Mr. Bunny, but I think in any sort of creative sense, if you go, we'll get Bad Bunny in, probably not going to end in a good match.
See, the thing that baffles me as well is the fact that it's not Bad Bunny and Damian Priest versus Miz and Morrison. It's just Bad Bunny versus The Miz. So you've called up Damian Priest to be a fucking valet involved to Bad Bunny. Like, are you shitting me? But yeah, okay.
He didn't even, like. I mean, I assume he still has his hot tub.
Well,
does he have charisma anymore? I know they were trying it in NXT.
Yeah, based on how that one went, no, I'm gonna go with. But he can shoot a pretty good invisible arrow. So I
think he could quite easily slip into that gimmick. That's how was it? Was it Lance Storm who had the boring gimmick?
Yeah.
He could quite easily. Damian Priest, for me, could quite easily slip into that gimmick where he tries to prove he's not boring.
If I could just be serious for a minute, and then he shoots a little fake arrow, that'd be fantastic. So yeah, hey, hop hop, load of shit. Speaking of load of shit, why is Reginald still here? What the fuck is with Reginald, man? First of all, he fucking starts ruining the whole Sasha Bianca thing going on. Now he's like fucking Nia Jax's little bitch, and he's there doing backflips coming out and stuff. It's like, why? This guy is nowhere near as talented or entertaining enough to be on my screen as much as he fucking is. I
still don't know why he left Carmella.
Yeah, we didn't really explain that.
He just randomly had an infatuation with Sasha, and then he was like, actually, I like Nia now. Like, is he like some sort of weird representative of the WWE fan base?
Maybe.
Like, he's trying to represent the fact that none of us can make our fucking minds up about anything.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? But whatever he is, all I know is I don't want to see him. To be fair, and I mean, I don't really want to see Nia Jax or Shayna Baszler either, if I'm honest. But I
mean, the whole fucking tag scene's just fucking ruined, isn't it?
Yeah, it really, really is.
You can't call me sexist. I'm not even talking about just the women's tag scene. I don't even know who the men's tag champs are anymore.
New Day, obviously.
Oh yeah. Who cares?
But yeah, so that was another O'Shite, and my final O'Shite. Right, Anthony, my fucking God, Right. I know a lot of people look down on pro wrestling, and I've never ever been embarrassed to say that I'm a wrestling fan. Until right now, Braun Strowman has got his own sound effect. Are you fucking shitting me? So, not only does Braun Strowman go toot toot himself, they play a fucking sound effect of a train.
They're leaning really heavily into this train thing.
Like, what? Is this just the fucking long games of him flipping a train? Like, he did it with an ambulance, so it's like, we'll get him to flip a train at some point. Like,
Shit,
I
I
don't
think you
get
might
it.
have called that. At some point, they're gonna have him flip a train.
Like,
It bugs me anyway. I hate overly signposted things, and when he's like acting like a big choo-choo train, and no one thinks, well, I'm just gonna roll into the ring while this big lumbering oaf runs around the ring. It just is beyond me. It annoys me. It annoys me more than like Shawn Michaels stomping the mat 600 times before he kicks you in the face. It annoys me
but you
more than
see,
John Cena waving to himself before he attacks you. It's like so signposted. It's just fucking annoying.
Anthony, they all pale in comparison to having your own sound effect. Have you ever witnessed anything so fucking stupid in all of your life?
It's Scooby Doo levels of fucking weird.
Like, that is embarrassing. Like, I couldn't like show somebody that match. They'd be like, have they really just played a fucking train sound effect?
And you're gonna be
Yes.
like, look, I know what you think, right? And yeah, that was stupid, but wrestling's good, man.
Yeah. Like, there's literally nothing you can say to defend that, is there? Like, I can't
This is
believe
this
that's
is the kind
happened.
of clip when you really cannot be justified in going, no, it's not fake. It's
We
scripted.
need.
This
Speaking
is
of
the kind of
sound,
thing that ruins that.
we've been speaking of sound bites to put on this show. We really need that fucking, them two British teenagers who one of them gets slapped in the face and he just goes, "I can't believe you've done this." Like, really,
That was a
that
cracking
that
impression of that.
that needs to be the fucking sound bites for what this was.
I
I'm fuming.
fucking love that as an idea. This is like the most fucking heinous thing they've done all week, if I'm honest.
I am fuming, to be fair. So, yeah, like that and that alone is really hard to score. To be honest, it would have actually been one of the much better episodes of Raw. To be fair, but
I mean, is this whole feud going to end up with sound effects? Is everyone going to get one? Because I think Shane O'Max should be like a cash register noise.
Ching! Just like
Yeah,
that.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not sure when you'd use it, but I think that should be a sound effect. Is everyone going to get a sound effect? I love this concept.
No, Anthony, stop it. They
I
listen
think
to this show.
no. Hear me out.
Don't endorse it.
When Roman Reigns really signposts his spear, and he's all like, "Rah," I think they should have dogs barking. You know.
I think it'd be really funny if it was just like a little chihuahua.
Love it.
It's the big dog. Be great.
I think what else can we do? There's loads of fantastic opportunities here. Obviously, Damian Priest is set up already. He does the arrow. You just have like a sort of arrow boing noise when he does it.
Okay. You're selling me on this a bit now, but no, you're not. It's awful. Worst thing they've ever done in wrestling. Fuming.
I love a world where they think this is going to work. Is this slowly going to get more and more? Like if somebody runs away from someone, are we going to get that running away sound that you get from Scooby Doo cartoons?
I mean, to be fair, I did overlay the Benny Hill music on top of the Stadium Stampede at one point. So
You did, and that worked really well. So maybe
in moments it can work, but yeah, this was just awful. So I'm gonna give it, Anthony, a final score of 2.5, and I think it probably would have got a 3, if not even potentially a bit higher. It was actually a really good episode of Raw. For a change, even though there wasn't, it kind of lacked a big main event. Was one of the things that I know. Obviously, they had the big angle with him summoning the Fiend and stuff like that, but it felt like obviously the Bobby match kicking off the show, and then we had Drew like middle of the card, but it felt like it just ended on a bit of a damp squib. So yeah, that's the reason why it gets 2.5, and yeah, a solid half point knocked off just for Braun. To be fair.
Gets a 1.5 from me. Fuck it.
Oh, I love it. He's on it. He's fuming this week.
Less than you. I liked a lot less things in this than you did, so I can't justify giving it 2.5. I'm afraid.
Okay.
I love trying to agree with you, but I can't do it. I just can't do it this time.
Okay, I like it.
Okay. Should we talk about NXT?
If we must, Anthony, if we must.
I'm afraid we have to, Carl. It's my turn now.
So, right, on NXT, I'm going
As far as the card goes, Carl, we opened the night. Opening match was Zoe Stark and Io Shirai going up against Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez, with Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez taking the win. We then had a match between Bronson Reed and LA Knight, with Bronson Reed taking the win. We saw Oney Lorcan go up against Karrion Kross, with Karrion Kross taking the win. We saw Walter, who I don't know if this is the first time we've seen him on NXT, but certainly the first time in a long fucking time. We saw Walter going up against Drake Maverick for some reason, with Walter taking the win. We saw Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon going up against Aaliyah and Mercedes Martinez for the tag team titles, with Blackheart and Moon taking the win. We saw Jordan Devlin going up against Kushida, with Jordan Devlin taking the win. And then we saw a contract signing between one Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly, with no one taking the win. That was the card. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm going to keep this brief, Carl, because let's face it, there's no highlights or shites really with this show. It's just there.
A lot of stuff that happens.
If I have to list some highlights, it's the whole Walter thing. As much as the match itself was like kind of stupid, like that, it was an odd booking and a clear squash, and a real shame for Drake Maverick that he has to be that guy. But there you go. But the fact that we have Walter going into this feud with Tommaso Ciampa, the fact that he comes across like such a menacing character, he's got Imperium around him, and you know this faction looks cool. And I'm not sure. To me, they're kind of clearly signposting how this is going to go, because Tommaso wants a match for his title, which is the UK title. Makes me think, well, he's not going to win it then, because he's not going to spend time in the UK, as far as I'm aware. So I don't know. I don't know how that's going to go down. It feels a little bit predictable that Tommaso's not going to win this. But even so, I'm all for this feud. I'm intrigued by Walter, and let's face it, it's something a little different on NXT. So it has to be a highlight for me, that one. I don't know if you have any thoughts on Walter turning up.
I thought it was shit. No, I'm joking.
No,
it's good. Yeah, it's definitely nice to see Walter. It's definitely nice to see Walter. I thought the whole Drake Maverick pairing was a bit weird. I also thought it was weird that he just showed up, because hasn't he been wrestling in the UK? Like, how did he get there? Like, is he allowed to travel?
I would guess a plane, Carl.
Well, you never, but travel bans and that. I don't know.
I don't know when was the last time he wrestled in the UK, because I assume he had to be cleared, like he had to isolate for a certain amount of time when landing in the country and stuff. So I don't know how long he's had to wait to do this, but.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. It just kind of came out of nowhere. I was definitely pleasantly surprised, but to your point, I can't see.
Did they keep to COVID regulations? I like what you're thinking.
Well, yeah, you got to ask the important questions. But yeah, I'm surprised to see him versus Ciampa, especially for the UK title, because I can't see him going spending time in the UK either. But who knows? Yeah. That would be a hell of a swerve.
The only other thing I find odd about it was like it seemed only a few weeks back they were pushing Tommaso and Tim Thatcher as a tag team, and they're like, "Nah, we're done with that now." That was a nice experiment, but let's not get too crazy. So I don't know what that was. But my other highlight, Carl, and this may surprise you, is the fact that women's tag teams, not the titles, but women's tag teams, seem to be sticking around in NXT. This is probably better executed than it has been on the main shows, in the sense of like tag teams still exist. We open the night with, Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez trying to prove that they are still like the best tag team in NXT. And they were probably, before all this tournament and before all this introduction of the titles, they were probably, for me, the only legitimate actual tag team in NXT as far as women's tag teams. So it was nice to see a nice little opening tag team match. And, Blackheart and Moon, as much as, again, I always prefer a tag team to be a fully fledged tag team, they seem to be leaning into it. They're doing this whole similar style thing, which I always like when they look a bit more in sync. And Aaliyah and Martinez, I mean, I've never really looked at it as a tag team. I've always looked at, Martinez is more of an enforcer kind of person, but, they kind of explain all that anyway with having Martinez sort of almost being hired, to do that. But again, it's nice to see that they're not just going, well, tournament's over. They're still trying to keep some tag team action going to legitimize the women's tag team titles, and I've got to give them credit there, because that is something that is really suffering on the main show.
Yeah, I still definitely don't think they need their own tag titles.
I don't. I think this would have helped
but-
massively the women's tag titles. If we'd just had one set of women's tag titles across 3 shows, this would have helped massively. The work they're putting in here would have helped massively. But instead, we have their own little NXT titles, which is fine. But we're gonna quickly run out of women's tag teams. Let's be honest. It's the same problem we've got with the men's tag team titles. Is we're gonna quickly run out of tag teams, guys.
Wouldn't it have been great, to get more exposure to the likes of Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart by having them win the WWE tag titles and showing up on Raw and SmackDown every now and again?
That's it. Putting some work on the other 2 shows would have been a fantastic idea. But we can't do that. We can't have nice things. You know that. But I've got to give it a highlight because they are putting some work in to try and keep them relevant. And I've got to give credit where credit's due for that. I don't know how long it's got, but right now it's working. And my last highlight was Devlin going up against Kushida. Just generally, it was a banger of a match. I was really impressed with the pair of them. It actually legitimizes Kushida. We've seen doing like a lot of good heel work as of late, and he's looking really quite ferocious since he come back. I think he was from injury, wasn't it, as well? I can't remember how long he was out for, but either way. But Jordan Devlin recently come back, and I think this really helps legitimize him going forward. Obviously, he's going into a program with the Santos Escobar. And interestingly, I think people, and you might be able to help me with this because I wasn't overly familiar with this, but they've made some sort of comparison to Shawn Michaels, which is why Michaels was involved this week. I don't suppose you know what all that's about. You might be able to regale me with some history as to why there's a comparison here.
So I don't really know what they're doing with the comparison, but I know that we're probably going to talk about this, but
likening the Razor Ramon Michaels thing.
Well, I was going to say
Escobar and Devlin, but I don't know what the comparison is myself. So
well, basically they revolutionized the ladder match. So they had the ladder match for the Intercontinental title, I think it was, at a WrestleMania or a SummerSlam. I can't remember when it was. So him coming out and doing that, it just pisses me off because he didn't revolutionise the fucking ladder match. They had one, and during a time we didn't have many, and it was all right. But that gets far too much love.
I liked it. I think this slides quite nicely into my first O'Shite, which was the need for Shawn Michaels to be on the show at all, and people have actually cited this as a good thing. I've seen it on social media where they're saying it's really good that WWE is acknowledging the comparison, and I'm like, nah, that's just trying to fuel attention from a legend. Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, they've gone, let's put Shawn on the show so we can say Shawn was on the show. 100%. Even if it was briefly to pull out a ladder.
100%. He came out, it shouldn't be about him at all. He's come out, fucking picked the ladder up, slid it in, and being like, I had a ladder match one time. Well, I'm happy for you, Shawn. Go back to being Old Man Marley in Home Alone, you prick. And then he walks out behind the curtain. There's a little stare down with Adam Cole. Well, no, I don't want to see that, to be honest, Shawn, because you should have retired last time. You was shit the last time you got in the ring, so stay retired.
Let's be honest. Didn't you get punted in the head by Randy Orton? Can we really legitimately see it as a threat to Adam Cole at this point?
Well, no, he did. He got punted in the head, but you remember he didn't. The punt that took every other legend out. He was the one who was back on his feet in 2 minutes.
Sorry, you're quite right. Yeah.
Fucking prick.
My next one. Sorry, my next O'Shite, as always, is Cameron Grimes.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you who didn't know what Cameron Grimes did this week, he doesn't bother with wrestling anymore. Apparently, he's a rich guy because WWE are trying to do this thing where we know what all the kids are talking about. So he's made money from fucking I think it was Dogecoin or whatever the fucking random micro cryptocurrency is popular at the minute because that's how it works. Or did he get GameStop stock?
I think I was going to say I think they're doing it off GameStop.
Cringeworthy, pop culturally fucking relevant that it's going to be so dated in about 3 months, I guarantee that. But he's minted now, apparently, anyway. So now he's a rich cowboy because we've never seen a rich cowboy in wrestling. So Cameron's playing that sort of character now, and as much as I didn't like his first character, this one's worse. But he was trying to buy the intellectual property of the Undisputed Era, which is insulting in so many ways because, firstly, Cameron Grimes now understands how IPAs work. He totally get what intellectual property is and how he goes about dealing with that. And also, apparently we're meant to believe that he can do stuff like that, even though we constantly in the news read about WWE copyrighting various different names and things like that. So it's totally believable that Cameron Grimes can buy the intellectual property of Undisputed Era and make it something else. It's just fucking stupid. Just he wasn't a likable character anyway. You're making him even fucking worse. Just let it go, man. And my last one, Carl, unless you have any notes on Cameron Grimes, that is.
No, not any more to add other than everything you've already said. He's pretty shit.
My last one is just the fact that I just really don't care about Adam Cole or Kyle O'Reilly or their match. And
yeah,
I don't know, that might be an unpopular opinion. Some people were well into it, but like they tried to sort of give it some like almost shoot fighty gravitas this week, where they showed you some shaky footage of like Kyle O'Reilly rocking up, or was it Adam Cole rocking up? Either way, they had a little fight in a gym, and Kyle O'Reilly made Adam Cole look like a bit of a bitch, to be honest with you. But there you go. And it was like okay, but it's not. I don't know. I've not been bothered by this at all. Some people might have been well into the Undisputed Era and like really impassioned about this, but I just do not care. Like this is not going to be the highlight takeover for me. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, me neither. I'm just not a fan. I like Adam Cole. I think he's cool, but like the rest of the Undisputed Era, I couldn't really care about. So to have them all this in a fighting and like the split up and stuff, yeah, couldn't care less. If I'm honest.
Mm. And that was. I'm gonna give it. It was slightly.
See, I'm gonna give this a 1.5. Which probably comes as no surprise. It was just very okay. Like there was nothing. Like Walter showing up was like a big shock for me. I thought Devlin Kushida was a great match, although the whole thing with Shawn Michaels afterwards pissed me off. And then yeah, to be fair, I quite like Blackheart and Ember Moon. So yeah, there was a couple of nice bits, but it just felt like a whole lot of like even the whole Finn Balor and Karrion Kross stuff. Like the match was a bit tame with Kross and what's his face, and then Finn coming out and just going like, yeah, I'm Finn. Yeah, we're gonna have a match.
Yeah, I'm Finn.
Like cool.
It's like that. Like even that little analysis from Finn, I've never really cited it as no shake because it wasn't bad. But like it's like, oh, I get how you work, you get angry and you lose focus or whatever bollocks he said. Basically, like he doesn't play it smart when he's angry, and it's like whatever. Like not being funny. He's been tearing through the NXT roster. It's not because like he's a hothead who's no like can't control himself. He like I don't know. Karrion Kross, mark my words, is going to win this, and if he doesn't, then I quit. I quit.
Okay.
There's some massive stakes I just randomly put out there. I'm not going to quit. Fuck you.
I'm going to call you on this now. It's going to be a pretty lonely live show.
I'm going to totally flip flop. I'm going to be like, yeah, I said if Finn doesn't win, I'm going to
quit. Well, shall we move on to the Superior Wednesday night show, Anthony?
If we must.
Shall we light it up? Light
it up, Carl, because it's Wednesday night, and you know what that means.
I do know what that means. It means I'm going to run you through the match card that consisted of Kenny Omega, the world champ, opening the show on Dynamite, just like Bobby Lashley did on Raw. Taking on Matt Sydal.
Parallel.
Yes. With Omega picking up the win.
Naturally.
We had Hangman Page taking on Cesar Bononi, with Hangman picking up the win. Britt Baker came out and cut an interview after her epic match with Thunder Rosa the previous week.
I did enjoy this interview.
Christian Cage had an interview and caught up with a very old...
Christian talks.
Christian talks. Sting talks. Britt Baker talks. There was a lot of talk. But yeah, his first opponent in AEW was revealed to be Frankie Kazarian. So, interesting. We had a trios match. We had Pinnacles, FTR, and Sean Spears taking on the Varsity Blondes and Dante Martin.
Are they officially Pinnacle now, yeah?
They're officially Pinnacle.
Okay.
And no surprise, Pinnacle picked up the win, followed up with a little promo from MJF and the rest of them after the match. Team Taz are fine. I kind of got Ross Geller vibes from this, when he finds out about Joey and Rachel.
I'm
fine. My fajitas. That was Taz after his interview.
It's gonna hurt tomorrow. For those who haven't gathered, we liked Friends.
We did like Friends. So Team Taz are fine. There's definitely nothing going wrong inside Team Taz. Okay. QT Marshall comes out to explain his actions that no one cares about. Yay. Lucha Brothers, apparently.
Well, let's backtrack a little here. What were the actions?
Well, he's been, walking out on Dustin Rhodes a few times and turning his back on the Nightmare family for unknown reasons. So
he's in the Nightmare family?
It's funny.
He's so relevant. Anyway, carry on.
We had the Lucha Brothers teaming up with the Laredo Kid, taking on the team of the Young Bucks and Brandon Cutler for some reason, with Lucha Bros and Laredo Kid picking up the win. We had Nyla Rose taking on Ty Conti, with Ty Conti picking up the win, and she was boss doing it as well. And the main event of the evening, Anthony's favourite, Darby Allin, defending the TNT title against the Dark Order's own John Silver. You okay?
I don't know how to phrase this without sounding like a knobhead. Right? Doesn't John Silver look kind of weird? He's kind of short, but I don't know.
Johnny Hungee.
I don't know. It's like when I see him running towards that barricade, I realise how short he is for some reason when he's running towards that barricade. Admittedly, that was the same barricade that dislocated his shoulder. Spoilers. But I'm I don't know. The more I look at him, his whole setup's kind of strange, isn't it? He's short but built I don't know, not in an Eddie Guerrero kind of way. It's weird. Anyway.
Anthony not only hates Darby Allin, he also hates John Silver. You heard it here first.
I hate everyone.
TNT title on the line with Darby Allin retaining in what was a pretty awesome main event, in my opinion.
I don't know, it involved Darby Allin.
You're so biased. So, let me dive right into the highlights. So, fantastic opener, I thought. So, we've already mentioned this. Crazy that both Raw and Dynamite opened this week with the world champion. In the opening match. What a coincidence. Really good match. Matt Sydal actually hung in there all the way through, to be fair, so it wasn't a squash match or anything like that. Kenny did a great job of making Sydal look like he could hang. So really good. Hell of a match from two really good wrestlers, and unsurprisingly, Omega picked up the win. Good little showing though from Matt Sydal. Next highlight, Britt Baker's interview, man. Epic. Is so crazy how good she is as a heel. To think when they first started, she was a babyface, she was generic, just vanilla, didn't really have anything about her whatsoever.
Such a good bad guy.
And she's a fucking legend, isn't she? So
I love the little bit of. I think it was a nice little nod. Loads of people took him seriously, but Mick Foley tweeted about it because she directly referenced Mick Foley, and he was I can't even remember quite what he said, but it was something along the lines of "that's not nice" or whatever. And so many people were "oh, you're better than she ever will be." It's guys, he's just having a bit of fun. He's loving it. I
seriously hope that is the case. I would be pretty sad if he has took offence to it. But let's go on the pretense.
I don't think he'd have publicly tweeted and tagged it in it if he'd have actually took offence. He was having a bit of fun, and I thought her heel work there was fantastic when she's I can't quite remember. I've heard this sort of thing done before, so I'm not going to act like it was totally original. But when she was basically it only took her a year and a half or whatever, I'm I like it.
Yeah. Well, yes. It was just so crazy, wasn't it? The fact she's calling herself a hardcore legend now. It took taking Mick Foley his whole career to achieve that status. It took her fucking one match pretty much. So yeah, she was fantastic work from her, and she's got to win that world title soon. She's white hot. She was hot the first time when obviously she had that accident and had a nose broken and stuff. And they had that T-shirt that went crazy, and then she's only been getting better and better. And so I think they need to capitalize on it now if they can. Definitely. So I want to see that.
Yeah, it's not, to be honest, not in a bad way, but it's not going to get any better than this. This is the point to capitalize right now.
Yeah,
you can't build this any further. She needs to go to the main title scene now.
Well, that's it. She's definitely ready for it, and I think as a champion, it can just add more layers to her heel work and stuff. She'll be able to call on the fact she's a dentist and a world champ, that kind of thing. Yeah,
definitely.
Next highlight, Pinnacle. I'm a big fan, you know. I was a bit worried at first. Shut up, you. I was a bit worried at first. It was a bit like a bit thrown together, these guys. But I'm getting proper Four Horsemen vibes from it. And I know that's exactly what they're intending. They're trying to build MJF. What?
Sean Spears.
Well, yeah, we'll come on to that. But, so, they're clearly building MJF up to be like the Ric Flair of the group. You've got Tully almost as like the advisor. FTR is probably the best tag team in AEW. You know what I mean? Wardlow is a fucking behemoth. And then, yeah, we've got Sean Spears. But someone's got to take the pins, Anthony. You know what I mean? Someone's got to take the pins.
Until Sean Spears.
Yeah, like, I mean, I'm not on board with that, let's be honest. But, yeah, I don't know. Obviously, eventually we're going to see some sort of feud with the Inner Circle. I like the fact that they weren't there this week. Like, they kept them away completely to sell the whole injury angle. I thought all that was really, really good. But obviously, that's the matchup, isn't it? We're going to get Santana and Ortiz against FTR. We're going to get Jericho MJF. We're going to get Hager and Wardlow. And then I imagine it's going to be Sammy Guevara and Sean Spears, which is a shame for Sammy. But hopefully it just means Sammy wins more. So, but yeah. So, in all fairness, for a brand new group that's just being kind of put together, I think they're killing it so far, and I think it's a classic return to form for MJF, who isn't.
You heard it here, guys. Like, Carl, 1 week of Pinnacle, and they're like the Four Horsemen. They're killing it. They're just fucking awesome. Like, fine.
Fuck you, man. Fuck you.
Sorry, I'm just being a bitch.
Standard. But yeah, I will eat my words if they go on to be shit. But I'm impressed with them so far.
Joking aside, and I was just trying to get on these.
Fuck you.
I was just trying to mess with it. Well, I totally get where you're coming from. I think they are looking awesome so far, and if they keep up the way they're going, yeah, it's going to work well. Despite Sean Spears.
Shut up. So the next highlight to talk about is Ty Conti. She was so good in this match. Just an excellent display from her. Like, she's obviously had great potential for ages now, and it would have been great to see them do something with her and Anna Jay and like everything that was going on there. Obviously, Anna's injured at the minute with a shoulder injury, but I don't know. This was the first time Ty Conti has just really shone for me. So she showed that she also really belonged in like the mix for the title almost. And it's crazy to think we talk a lot about the AEW women's division feeling a bit stale and stuff like that when you've got Britt and you've got Ty Conti and you've got a couple of others now who are kind of coming out the woodwork a bit as real credible contenders really.
I couldn't agree more with your statements. I think and I think it's fair to say that they didn't have the best women's division. I don't think we can argue with that. Even when we're trying to defend AEW to the people who just naturally hate it for no reason, I don't think we can defend the women's division. However, you're totally right. This is the first time, I think, since its inception that we've been able to go, oh yeah, you've got Tay Conti, you've got Britt Baker, you've got Abaddon. Sorry, apologies if I said that wrong. You've got Hikaru Shida is still awesome, Nyla Rose, and you were actually able to list a handful, That's the first time I've been able to do that since AEW's inception, and that's I've not even included people who I think have got a ton of potential who haven't been used probably yet, like Penelope Ford. So they're definitely heading in the right direction with the women's division. I couldn't agree more. Yeah,
it's been a slow build, hasn't it? But hopefully it's starting to pay off now. And then the final highlight to talk about was the main event. I just thought it was an awesome match. I'm a big fan of Johnny Hungy, even if you do think he's a little midget who's,
I didn't say
big muscles. That's what you said.
Midget.
That's what you implied.
I said he looks... No, that doesn't...
He just looks like a midget. Look, right...
No, he's good. He's always been full of character. Weirdly, I only realised just how much personality he had when he was on A Shot of Brandy. But he's just a fun guy, and he adds something to the Dark Order. And it's a shame what happened in this match, and I'll let you talk through the match. But I'm not knocking him. It was a good match.
Thanks for letting me talk through this match on my own fucking show segment, Anthony. Wind your neck in back down. I kid. But no, so
there's some
obviously
heat building between us. We're gonna have to settle this in some way.
Yeah, some way down the line. But no, obviously I'm a big fan of him. I think he's got, charisma for days. He's a real bright spark in the Dark Order stuff. And, he's always impressed me with his strength and his ability really in the ring as well. So it was great to see him and Darby go at it. And yeah, so unfortunately probably in like the middle of the match as well. It wasn't even like towards the end. They did a spot where Darby threw him over the barricade. And he basically separated his shoulder, or he's tore some ligaments, or he's done some serious damage to it anyway. But yeah, he still was able to carry on and finish the match, which, fair fucking play like that isn't easy. And it wasn't like he finished the match with one arm either. He was, he was using both arms and doing everything. So yeah, it must have been in a hell of a lot of pain. Like,
it's a clear sign that Johnny Hungy.
Yeah, so I think he is going to be out of action for about 4 weeks now, but he didn't require surgery, so that's the important thing.
Yeah, it's a real good sign.
And it's funny as well because obviously he was taking the piss out of Anna Jay for a weak little shoulder, and then Anna Jay was like going back at him saying, "Oh, what was it you were saying about my weak little shoulder?" And he's like, "At least I didn't need surgery." So yeah, so I quite like that as well. But yeah, the match itself was really good. I'll be honest, I'm not sure about the involvement of Sting again, or the involvement of the Dark Order in it. Like, this was a face versus face thing. Dark Order are not heels, you know what I mean? So it didn't make sense that they were all there and they were going to help him win or anything, and Sting was even in the odds.
At this point, especially. Like, ever since Brody, and understandably so, because you can't really keep them as heels at that point. Like, you can't book them as heels right now. It just doesn't work right now.
Exactly. So it just didn't make sense to me, because like the Dark Order weren't going to get involved and turn heel and cost Darby the match or anything like that. So like Sting coming out to be the equalizer again was just a bit like, again. So yeah, I don't know. I'm a big fan of them as a pair, and to be honest, I know you're not, but I've quite liked all the stuff up to now. But yeah, this one felt a bit maybe one too far. You're probably like 10 too far. But yeah, so I thought the match was good. I'm not too sure about the Sting Dark Order involvement, but the nice little show of respect afterwards as well was good. And I don't know why you hate Darby, but I think he's a great little homegrown AEW talent. Just because Cody fucking bent over and took it up the ass for him doesn't mean anything. He's good in his own way.
As far as I'm concerned, he's just a skater boy.
Well, I'm going to say see you later, boy, to you. As we move on.
No, I don't get it, but maybe that's because I'm not hip or down with the kids. I don't know.
Well, don't have to tell me twice. Moving into the O'Shites, QT Marshall, man. My God, right? So not only do I not care about QT Marshall, not only do I not care about the fact that he's been in a bit of a huff the last few weeks and like turned his back on Dustin and Cody and stuff like that. Don't care about that. Can we just he cut a promo talking about how lucky he is, and he's got a wife he's known since he was like 9 years old and all this stuff, and it cuts her in the audience and it's like, are we forgetting the fact that he was like, there was a storyline a couple of months ago where he was shagging Bad Bunny? Not Bad Bunny. No, that was a Freudian slip. He was shagging the bunny.
I mean, he worded it carefully. He said he's got a wife sitting there. It's not his wife, just a wife.
Just a wife. Yeah, fucking hell, Bad Bunny. My God. But no, so obviously there was that storyline, wasn't there, where, Bunny had left the plate, and, with the whole thing with him and
it turns out it was just an
Brandy.
episode of Wife Swap.
Apparently so. So all that stuff just really irked me as well. But then all the shit about, he's only ever going to be known as Cody's friend, and it's like, for fuck's sake, now Cody's involved in this, and again, it's just something that no one wants to see. And talk about overbooked. Cody's out in a sling. He's got a sore arm, but they'll have an exhibition match with his friend, and you know what? If he gets him in the ready for the crossroads, he won't hit it. If he gets him in the figure four, he won't really put it on. Like, what? Okay. Awful.
Here's the thing.
To be honest.
I want to make something clear to you, QT Marshall, if you're listening to this, and you probably are.
He thinks you're a cutie.
You're not just known as Cody's friend. That's not how any of us know you. We know you as that guy with the apple. That's all we fucking know you as. Yeah. Let's be honest. And even Carlito did it better.
He did. Much better, to be fair. Much better. So yeah, not impressed by any of this, to be fair. It's annoying to see. Like, I thought we were getting, a decent feud with Penta and Cody. basically came out 1 week and
we have to sacrifice that for the match you definitely want to see.
Exactly. Like we had one fucking match, and Cody won. It was like, wow, okay. So yeah. Sometimes you can understand the shit Cody gets. That's all I'm saying. Although I'm still a big fan. The Young Bucks and Kenny Omega stuff is something else. It's just been done now to the fucking max, hasn't it? Like, who cares at this point? 1 minute they're fucking elite, the next minute they're a Bullet Club.
I stopped paying attention. I'll be honest.
Like, who cares? Like, Kenny Omega's like, this is your last chance, trying to get into fucking Too Sweet again in the ring, and then they just walk off, and then Kenny Omega gets taken out by the Lucha Bros. So it's a bit like, well, right, all right then. Kenny Omega is such a hit and miss champion. Like, it's insane. Some weeks he'll do some fantastic stuff, and you'd be like, yeah, this guy's awesome. Other weeks you'll come out and just be like, wow, this is shit.
It makes you wonder who's involved in the story work, because it's so 50-50, this booking.
Do you know what? I think that's some of the problem. Like, I know that they're very open to letting the talent do their own stories and all that kind of stuff, which is cool. But just, Tony Khan needs to step up, man, and just be like...
But at the same time, though, there's no way this can fluctuate so frequently like this and it all be Kenny. It's almost like someone else is saying, well, what about we do this? Because there's no way Kenny can have like a really cracking idea and cut a really good promo and then the next week do something shit like this. It feels like there's other people involved when maybe there shouldn't be. And I'm not saying Kenny's the one coming up with the good ideas, but there's definitely more than one party involved, and sometimes it doesn't work.
I think the thing we've got to face into with AEW here is that everyone who's some kind of fucking, executive or vice president or whatever the fuck that that they are, it's all of them who've got the shit storylines at the minute. Kenny's got a shit storyline. Young Bucks got a shit storyline. Cody's got a shit storyline. Like, really?
Because they've got the freedom to make those shit storylines.
Yeah, like, it's crazy how I just don't care about them. I'm like, they're the core of the fucking show because they run the show. So it's a bit like, right, okay.
Is that the aim?
Maybe. If so, it's a terrible idea. And then my last shite is just the post-match stuff that happened between Ty Conti and Nyla Rose. Like, I fucking hate Big Money Matt, and it's a shame because I love Matt Hardy, but so...
the Bunny, Matt Hardy we love is version 1.
Bunny, not Bad Bunny, comes out and she's getting involved, which is all fine. That's not a problem. But then we find out that, obviously we found out that he's paid off Butcher and the Blade and the Bunny to be part of his fucking Hardy party. But then, he comes out and says this whole tournament was a sham that they had because, like, Bunny wasn't even in it anyway. And then they all just kind of stand there on the stage in silence for about, like, 30 seconds. Like, I don't know whether it was a production error. Like,
way too much dead air.
Yeah,
way
it's like,
too much.
Okay, what are we going to do? And then they just kind of eventually move on. And it was just awful. It was just so like, amateur hour. It's insane. But yeah, so I hate the whole Matt Hardy stuff. I hate the fact he's building a faction that just doesn't make sense.
I miss version 1.
Yeah, me too. I miss Broken, to be honest. So I'm just gonna throw it out there. And I know you don't get it, but yeah, I prefer Broken to Big Money, 100%. So yeah, so that was the show, to be fair, and I don't want to shit on it too much. I thought it was a really solid show, to be fair, and I'm going to give it a 3. It's just a shame that I still think it was the best show of the week, even though I thought Raw was solid. It was the best show of the week. It's just such a shame that the stuff that didn't land really didn't fucking land. Otherwise, this could have even potentially got a bit higher because, a lot of the matches were really good quality. A lot of things kind of moved on a little bit. Britt Baker's promo was really good. We finally heard more about Christian and what he's going to do and stuff. So, yeah, most of it was really good. But yeah, it's just some of the stuff was just so bad. QT Marshall, all this stuff with the Elite, and then yeah, just some of the amateur hour type stuff with the dead air and the Hardy thing just killed it for me. So gets a 3 from me.
I'm going to meet you on a 3. I think that's a fair assessment.
Whoa! Right, who even are you? Who is this guy?
I'm a changed man. I'm no longer the bitter, argumentative person I was in Raw and Raw and NXT.
Yeah, and Dynamite. So you're no longer the
Dynamite.
Bitter man you were 30 seconds ago.
I'm no longer the man I was 5 seconds ago. Let's talk SmackDown, shall we?
Lay it down.
So we open the night, as we like to do, with a Daniel Bryan promo. Yeah, we've changed it now. It's not Roman anymore, so I can't complain.
Mm-hmm.
We then have our first match of the night, which is Shinsuke Nakamura going up against Seth Rollins, with Seth Rollins taking a win. We saw Big E teaming up with the Street Profits to take on Alpha Academy and Apollo, with the heels taking the win. I'll let you guess who they are. We saw a new episode of the KO show, which I know you've missed, Carl. We haven't had one in a while, so this was worth the wait. We then had Bianca Belair going up against Natalya, with Bianca Belair taking the win. We then saw Rey Mysterio go up against Dolph Ziggler for some reason, with Rey Mysterio taking the win. And then we closed the night with Adam Pearce coming out to make a decision about the match at Mania, which should have been booked many moons ago, but we're going to wait until fucking right now. That's the card. And surprisingly short card, really, but it kind of all works out. So, as far as highlights go, Carl, and this is where I think we might butt heads a little bit, which we don't normally do, and especially haven't during the course of this night. But I'm quite enjoying the Edge heel turn. I actually think, because it makes sense, I quite like it, because he's so... The way they sold it, and I'll have to spoil some elements. Daniel Bryan come out, and it was a bit of a shit promo from Bryan, if I'm honest. It hasn't quite hit a no shite, I'll be honest, but it was kind of like a bit of an entitled, even though he was trying to act not entitled, but it was a bit of an entitled thing, because he's making suggestions like, well, I should be maybe on night one, and then whoever wins night one, I should go, and all that's bollocks. And I'm like, no, because you didn't win the Rumble, so you shouldn't be in the match. You're saying you should be in the match because you're Daniel Bryan. That's what you're doing. So I wasn't overly sold on the promo, as much as it wasn't a no shite. But essentially, Edge has turned heel and sort of went berserk at the end of the night, because Adam Pearce has made the decision that it should be a triple threat match at Mania. And it's this whole thing of like entitlement of like, he's had to work his ass off to come back to wrestling and come back to the Royal Rumble and win the Royal Rumble to get a shot at Roman Reigns, and Daniel Bryan essentially just gets handed it. And I could understand the legitimacy of why he's turned heel. So I'm like, okay, that works for me. I like it. But I know you said something earlier this night that maybe you weren't a big fan of this. So would you like to regale us as to your reasoning?
It's fucking preposterous that they would turn Edge heel.
Really?
It makes no fucking sense. To be honest, I'm probably the complete flip to everything you just said, which is ironic.
What?
So the Daniel Bryan, like, I agree that he did kind of come across a little bit entitled, but I actually thought it was a good promo in the sense of everything he said made sense, because you could clearly see that he had a solid case to be in the main event picture, because he did make Roman tap and all this kind of stuff. So all
I'll
that
give
bit
him
was fine.
Like that element of the promo made a lot of sense, because he did make him tap, and he did kind of get screwed by that because they didn't acknowledge the tap before the whole chair incident. So you're quite right about that. I'll give you that.
All that stuff's fine, but I just don't see why Edge has to now be a full-on heel. We've got the heel. Roman's the heel. Roman's a fantastic heel. Why have we now got Edge, who, has just come back? He's had that redemption story. It's the craziest thing to do, to turn him heel, all based on the fact that we hope the fans are going to cheer for Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. Like, I think they shit the bed and thought, and if you believe the dirt sheets, and most of it's from Meltzer, so it's probably bullshit anyway, but the belief is that they felt Edge was looking older and older every week, and also they felt that the people,
he's in his 40s or something,
and they felt that people might start to cheer Roman because they like heel Roman. So because they were so scared, they were like, well, if we turn him heel and we add Daniel Bryan into the mix, fucking Scott fucking Steiner style, like the chances of him being booed
will go up against it.
drastically go up. I just think it's insane. It's like that as a thing.
From a booking point of view, I do agree with you. I think a triple threat at Mania is a massive cop-out. I think people would have been totally fine with Roman versus Edge. I would have been totally fine with that myself, right? And let's face it, like if you're legitimately going to book Goldberg versus Roman with no qualms at all, then why are you scared about Roman Edge?
That doesn't make any sense to me. None. However, at all.
What I find good, and when I say my highlights were Edge stuff, as you'll see from my notes, it was the fact that I was sold into why he went heel. I'd be pissed off too.
Yeah, I mean, you would be, but I don't know. I'm just not a fan of the way they've done it. To be fair, he just seems far too over the top. Like, it's gone from him being like, he's come back. Because to me, Edge has come back after all this layoff and he wants to fight people like Daniel Bryan. So he'd be more like, okay, I'd see it as an opportunity to, fight both of you and all this kind of. There's so many different ways they could have done it.
Like, Bryan made a few suggestions that night when apparently Adam Pearce can't book certain things. Adam Pearce has no power and all the power at the same time, which kind of pisses me off as well, but we'll moan about that a different day. Would you have preferred one match one night and one match the other, or would you prefer a triple threat if you can only have one of the two?
I mean, my true preference would have been just not having Daniel Bryan involved at all, and just being them two.
Let's say you have to have Bryan involved. Would you have preferred the triple threat, or would you prefer let's concentrate on a match between those two, and then the winner goes on to face Roman Reigns?
I guess the triple threat, and my justification would be, I can only assume they're doing it because someone that ain't Roman Reigns is going to eat the pin, and we're going to see a new champ.
Yeah. See, this is the trouble with a triple threat, though. This is exactly why I kind of don't like a triple threat, because I go, so you've now got two heels and a Daniel Bryan. So I feel like it could go either way, but for me, it always comes out as Roman's not going to win. And it could go, Edge wins on Daniel Bryan and has the heel title run, or Daniel Bryan wins against Edge and takes the title as the face. Like, there's no way like Roman's going to come out of this in my mind, and I'd be surprised if he comes out of this as the winner because there's now someone else to eat the pin. You're quite right, but that's some of the reason I'm not a big fan of the triple threats, because I feel like they're making it predictable.
It's a cop out, like you've already said, it is a massive cop out to do this, and I can only assume it is because Roman would lose, and that is so undeserving as well. I think he should have a super lengthy reign with the title and really solidify himself as like
lengthy reigns.
He should have many Roman reigns, but very lengthy ones. So yeah, I don't know, because I know there was rumours about having Roman and Daniel Bryan in a feud for a bit, so maybe they will have Edge win it and have that whole. But even that doesn't make sense now they've turned him heel, because it's not a feel good story anymore. It's not like X number how many years it is, a decade more since he announced his retirement. On that day, he's now winning the belt. Like that. That's like
on this day.
I'm the champ again. So you know what I mean? Like that would have been the story to tell, and then you could have booked something with Roman and Daniel Bryan for a bit to get Roman out the title picture while Edge had a new challenger like Seth Rollins or something. So all that would have made sense, right? But now that he's heel, none of that can work. It's stupid.
You just said it. You've just said it, and it's made me realise Edge being heel puts us further away from Edge versus Seth.
Yeah, it puts us further away from loads of stuff because they haven't got any fucking baby faces on that show, really. None that you care about.
all heel wrestling.
So yeah, I just don't get it.
You're right.
But I know I'm right. I'm always fucking right.
But it's still a highlight. Go fuck yourself. My next one, and again, you're probably going to disagree with this one, but we had the KO show, which, to be honest, I think we're both a bit done with these shows. Yeah. Like, they never seem to work these days. And admittedly, I don't think this one worked, and it was used as a mechanism to bring Logan Paul into it, or Sean Paul, or whatever Paul was involved. But it was a mechanism for that. But what I want to give a highlight to is the Sami Zayn versus KO build, and the fact that we're going to get this match at Mania. I think the two of them just really fucking deserve it. I've been a fan of Sami Zayn as a heel for a while anyway. This slight divergence into this new character of being just sort of paranoid, conspiracy theory kind of guy, it's still interesting to me, to be fair. But nevertheless, even if you take all the gimmicky shite out of it, these two having a banger of a match on the biggest stage of them all couldn't be more deserved. And I want to give it a highlight for that reason.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. It does worry me the fact they've got fucking Logan Paul involved for no apparent reason.
That was it, Logan Paul. Yeah.
Yeah. So that does worry me.
Yeah, I don't think it needed it, but no. Nevertheless, WWE they're seeing dollar signs, aren't they? So they're gonna do it in some way.
Greedy bastards, what they are. Greedy bastards. But yeah, so Yeah, I think as long as Kevin Owens can still jump off the pirate ship like we all want to see, it'll be fine.
Oh, that's gonna happen. That'll happen. So, my shites, Carl. The tag titles.
Mm-hmm.
They've been kind of irrelevant. I honestly keep forgetting who's got them. Like, how can I sit here and say that they were better with the? Keep forgetting that Ziggler and Rude have got them. That's how obscure they are, right? But on that, beaten for no apparent fucking reason, with no benefit to anyone. So this one half of the tag champs has just lost clean to Rey Mysterio for no fucking reason. Yep. Does that help the title scene? Does it? Fuck.
Nope.
What was the idea of putting the titles on these two when they've done fucking nothing since? Like nothing.
I don't even think
the only thing I can think with this Rey win, and it scares the hell out of me, but the only thing I can think with this Rey Mysterio win is that.
Oh, don't even do that.
And I think with Mysterio and Dominic, and those two Mysterios are going to win the fucking belts and just make the titles even worse.
But I don't want to see that. And that's exactly what we're going to get, isn't it?
But I think that's what's going to happen.
And now that you put the idea out there, and when it happens, I can blame you. So, thanks, Anthony.
I'm sorry. My last shite, though, so you'd be glad to know I'm done, is Natalya. And, I don't want to be unfair to her. Like, she is kind of a legend in her own right. I don't think she's ever had a truly great run with WWE, which is a real travesty in all honesty, and there's no disrespect to her. It's just the way WWE have booked her. And this week just epitomizes the way they've booked her, because they start something with her and Tamina. They actually build up a little bit of steam for her and Tamina. And then what do? Well, let's have her lose clean to Bianca Belair.
Which is the natural thing
lose to clean. Like it makes sense that she lost to Bianca Belair, but you had Tamina and you had Sasha Banks involved, and this was a clean loss. So they had absolutely no interest in protecting Natalya and Tamina as a tag team, because they don't give a fuck about them two as a tag team.
Nope.
And it's a gain. And this is, I'm not putting Natalya as no shite in any disrespect to Natalya. I think she deserves better. But this is just a gain. Where are they going with this booking? Because what's left for this tag team now then? Just lose to people who you're trying to push then? Yeah, sound. That's all you do. So
pretty much. Pretty fucking
travesty.
And this is why we don't have any fucking tag teams.
This is why we can't have nice things, WWE. And that was it for me, shites. Everything else was kind of alright. As far as the rating goes, Carl, I'm probably going to land on a 2.5. It was alright this week.
Okay. I just don't think there was enough there to even get to a 2.5 for me. So I'm going to have to get a 2.
Can I just rebuttal slightly though? And this may not change your score at all. But wouldn't you rather it feel a little bit like maybe there wasn't enough there, then it feel bloated with stuff that's unnecessary? Because it would drag my score down if there was shit in here that was pointless. You know what I'm saying?
See, I completely agree with you. Only I think some of the shit in here was pointless, and there just wasn't enough of it either. Yeah, so you know what I mean? Like if I look at that card, like what was good?
Look at the card.
What was good on there? Nakamura Rollins was good.
That was good, and it never got a mention because it wasn't good enough to be a highlight. But it wasn't bad. So
well, it's good, but it's also a rematch from Fastlane, so we've seen it. So it's like, okay, but it was still good. Like the tag team stuff, not good. KO show, the show stuff itself, not good. Do I want to see their match? Yeah, but
yeah. But that's fair, because the KO show itself wasn't great, and they never are these days. They've really overplayed Piper's Pit, and made that many different variations of Piper's Pit.
Well, exactly.
I'm citing Piper's Pit as the first. Apologies if I'm wrong, but they've made so many different talk show segments now that it's just way too much.
Yeah.
That's our next unique segment. Let's rate the amount of the top 10 best talk shows, because we probably got 20 of the fuckers.
We probably do, to be fair.
Yeah, no, I take your point, Carl. Yeah, I see why I'm sticking with a 2.5 myself, but I can see why you've come to a 2, because it wasn't the most fleshed out card, in all fairness.
No.
And that was This Week in Wrestling. We did it.
That was it. We did it. We made it through another show, Anthony. How do you feel?
Certainly have. Slightly inebriated.
It's all the whiskey, all the Coronas.
Well, I had one bourbon, one shot, and one beer, like the song said, and that didn't help.
Is that what you actually had? What did you have a shot of?
I'm only kidding. I didn't have the shot. I had a bourbon and a beer.
Okay. Okay, I'll let you off. I feel like you now need to just have a shot or something, like just, you know.
I mean, I've got some Horlicks.
That'll do. You know, as long as it's in a shot glass, you're fine. But no, another fantastic week. We got to speak to you about all the latest news and rumors. We got to speak to you about our top 10 greatest WrestleMania matches of all time. Fight me if you think that, you know, some of the other ones should have been on there that we, you know, just didn't pick. And then we got to talk about another interesting week of wrestling. We are 12 days away from WrestleMania. We've got, I don't know how many days because I can't do the math, but we're only a few days away as well from an epic week of wrestling. Obviously, we have Raw, the Hall of Fame, we have a 2-day takeover, we've got Smackdown, and we've got a 2-night WrestleMania following with the post-WrestleMania Raw. So this is our favourite time of year, from Rumble to Mania, and after this...
wonderful time.
And after Mania, you'll see our mood change drastically when, you know, it all just goes to shit.
It's the longest possible time before more Mania.
Yeah, that's exactly. It. So, you know.
Join us again next week for the best 3 hours of wrestling content on a Monday night that you will get.
Absolutely.
I promise you that.
He's not wrong. But yeah, you can also obviously follow us on all the social medias. We are there. We are everywhere. Oh, like 7,500 people on TikTok now. Madness. Yeah. Over 1,000 on Instagram. Obviously, if you're listening to this, check us out on YouTube as well. You get to see our beautiful faces. You get to see some hilarious visual cues as well that we like to do. You can also comment on there too, you know, and let us know, especially about the WrestleMania.
Subscribe and promote to your friends, all that.
Press the notification bell for some reason. No one wants notifications of when there's things. You can just find us when you want. You know, we're not like those other guys.
Go on YouTube and go, oh, look, that's in my feed. That's what you normally do. Be cool and don't press the notification bell.
Exactly. Anyone who tells you that there's a notification bell end. That's what I say. But anyway, that's them. We are us. You can also get our exclusive merch, including A2theK t-shirts, including cartoon graphics of our faces.
It's commemorative. Can you see it?
They're coming soon then. Look at them. Look at that sexy little whiskey glass, which you'll see us modelling as we have our live stream on WrestleMania Night 2, where we will also be announcing the winner of our giveaway, our first ever giveaway of a WWE t-shirt of your choice, as long as it's 25 quid, $25.
Spoilers, guys. On that night, Carl and I meet face to face.
Oh,
for the first time in the history of this podcast.
That is insane, isn't it? Isn't that an insane thing to even fathom? Wow.
That is crazy.
COVID's a bitch. So yeah, we will be back this time next week. We hope you enjoyed the show, and here's some more noise just to serenade you off until you see us again.
See you all next week.
Bye-bye.
You're watching or listening
to A to the K.
The A2theK.
A2theK. A2theK.
A2theK. These guys are awesome. Check it out.
Check it out. Change your life. You'll be thanking me later.